everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Eddrick Show. I am Eddrick Jerome, your host. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as we try to build this thing from the ground up. You can learn about us on the Eddrick Show on Facebook and also our Instagram, Eddrick Show. So we do thank you for tuning in, and please hit the subscribe button and you'll get all the notifications of our new episodes. Today, I have a very special guest, very talented young man. I want to introduce Aaron Sencil. Aaron is a resident of Suisun City, California. It's one of the most diverse cities in California. Aaron has a long history of producing and directing cultural arts performances. He was one of the youngest artistic directors to run a professional Polynesian dance company, Hui Tamanui. He's known for bringing innovation, modern aesthetics, and stunning costume and visual effects to traditional dance, and he's been nominated for 2 Izzy Awards. In addition, he has been a production designer for the prestigious San Francisco Ethnic Dance Festival for more than 20 years. Aaron and his husband, Vincent, are also the creators of V&A's Gingy House, an annual giant whimsical immersive holiday display in Suisun City, California, that's made with recyclable items. Last year, his display was visited by more than 22,000 people. Aaron, welcome to the show.
How's it going, Eddrick? Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome, man. It's my pleasure. So I want to start out talking about how we got to know each other, which was through the this year's San Francisco Ethnic Dance Festival. Tell us about how you got involved with that group, because you've been with them for more than 20 years. Tell us about the festival and just, why did it attract your attention and why did you decide to get involved with that organization?
Sure. So World Arts West is a nonprofit organization that produces the San Francisco Ethnic Dance Festival. I've always heard about it when I was little. We were always involved in cultural groups. Family members would always go to these shows and you hear about it all the time. So the San Francisco Ethnic Dance Festival has been around for almost 40 years. And what it is, it's a month-long show, basically. And there's usually 3 to 4 weekends, depending on what year it is. And each show has about 10 different groups, sometimes 12, sometimes less. And all those groups have to audition to be a part of this show. So there's normally about 300 or so groups that audition. That usually happens in November. The show normally comes out in June. So they're chosen on authenticity. There's a lot of experts, judges that they have that have to look at it from a cultural perspective and also how to fit it within the show. So I always loved that. I thought that was so cool because I remember seeing cultural performances and just shows in general. And I have a really low attention span. But the way they have the top lighting designers, top stage production managers, the top marketing you can find in the Bay Area. So that's always kind of been like the Disneyland of cultural dance performances, because it's just phenomenal what they do. So I was involved first as a spectator when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And then I down the line was a performer in it. Our group was able to get into the festival, which we thought was phenomenal and amazing. And I think that drew a lot of attention to me from the producers and directors because I was so young when we got involved with it. Then I went to volunteering as an usher and helping out, to guest performing with other dance companies. And then eventually, one year they asked me if I could design the t-shirt because they loved all of our t-shirts for our performances. They just loved how we did it. So I think that was 2001, I believe. And other than their anniversary shirt, it was the top selling shirt out of the whole history of the festival. So, which is why they invited me for this past year's festival to say, hey, would you be interested in designing a shirt again? I said, yeah, absolutely. At the same time, they asked me if I would want to create a family viewing guide for the festival for children, because they know we work really good with children. And I used to have a children's clothing line at one point. And then they asked if I would be interested in being a production designer. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So it kind of went full circle from being a little spectator into it to being part of the production team, which is awesome. But yeah, that's how we kind of got involved. And then we met you during the screening. So as you know, the festival is normally held in person. And because of COVID, it's been a long hassle of how to get the state, how to bring it back. So we had to do it in film version. And thankfully, our mayor, Lori Wilson, was able to get the screening in Suisun City, which is the #2 diverse city in California. And it's such an honor, because normally the festival's only been seen in the actual theater in person, which is usually at Palace of Fine Arts, San Francisco Opera House, I think the War Memorial Building, they had it there too, and then also in Berkeley at Zellerbach Hall. So the only way for anyone to ever see it the only way for you to see it is if you actually went to the shows in person. So we're bringing the festival to Solano County and outside of the normal San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley side, which is amazing. I never thought that would happen. So that's a big, huge thing that I think that I know the executive directors and World Arts West, I don't think they realized how much of a big step that was until they actually saw the interest in it too. They're just so used to being in San Francisco. And I think the community that saw it enjoyed it as well. And I know a lot of them don't even know about the festival, which is mind-boggling to me, because I've been born and raised around it. And, that's just something we always did. And I think that a lot of the guests visiting the show, if they're not from San Francisco, if they're anywhere from our side, they're more from the Napa side. The wineries and the fine arts and stuff. So this is a really good step to introduce the festival to the community. Along with, she was able to get a screening for about 140 kids at the Kroc Center. And those kids have never seen anything like this before. So especially with COVID, they hadn't been able to take guests, was the next best thing. And to see the children's eyes just like they were just blown away by it. They've never seen anything. I was kind of worried that might lose their attention, but I think it was because it was so different for them. They were watching it like as if they were watching a Pixar movie. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and it's such a diverse group of talented dancers and from all over the world. And I'll put a link in the description to the San Francisco, I think, Dance Festival in terms of how you might be able to see it. I know the screening in Suisun was last weekend, but you can get a lot of more information about the festival and the film. If you check the description, we'll have a link down there. So you've been involved in live performances, dance, and so now you're working on this film. And so as an artist, what were some of the challenges you faced about how do you capture the energy of a live performance on film?
So as production designer, my job was basically to enhance the locations on where we're filming, or try to come up with ideas to make it fit. All of the stuff from when we first started this, which is actually 2 years ago, changed so much that pretty much everything that we planned didn't go as what we planned, because for one, the artists we had to keep rotating out and changing, because whether their dance schools were closed or they had scheduling conflicts, the challenges were some locations to film weren't even open, and we're not allowed to go there because of COVID. So it was a really, really big challenge on how to work with that. So luckily we have our director of photographer, Deanna, who's amazing, and then we actually have the actual director of the film, Sonia, they're used to working on film. They've worked together on film before, so a lot of it was interesting for me because I had no idea how they were going to do this, but their especially Deanna, her focus is capturing film. So for me, it was just make it look pretty and cool and try to like how we would do a set in theater, but how do we do it where, for one, we don't have a theater. Everything has to be transportable and move here and move there, and has to be ready for weather. And none of us have a big car, so normally we could just keep it in the theater, but to have to move and transport items, make them light, and also within our budget because we didn't have a festival last year. So a lot of that is relying on the previous show. So it was a challenge, and it was fun. And I love it, and I hope we never have to do it that way again, because that's not, we're theater people. We're not movie traveling and on the set type of people. It was fun, but yeah, that was a big challenge.
Well, congrats. It's a great film. And as I say,
Thank
we'll put a link in to see how people can take a look at it. Cultural heritage forms of expression like dance and music, it's not just, a fun thing to do, but it's critical in preserving and sharing the histories of Indigenous people.
Yes.
You were very young when you started your work as director of a dance company. So who were some of the people that influenced you to do this work, and how did you at such a young age become aware of the cultural significance of what you were doing?
One of the people the groups that always inspired me when I was younger, there's a group called Le Grand Ballet de Tahiti, and it's a group in Tahiti. They were formed together by different already existing artists. From what I believe, one of the main reasons why they were pushed or to create was because for Tahiti tourism. So one of the directors owned a modeling agency. Another one was a creative choreographer, amazing choreographer. Another one was like a songwriter. Another one was one of Tahiti's top choreographers. And so you put them all together, and you see this amazing stage production of traditional Tahitian dance, but with lighting and amazing costumes. And if you've ever been in Tahiti before, all the dancers in this group were probably at least 6 feet tall. They're huge. They're tall. All the guys were, bulging six packs, and the girls had a big, long, flowy hair. It's such a, it's like a almost. It's like a picture perfect of what Tahiti is like. And it is very beautiful like that. But I think that's what really captured my mind and inspired me, because they knew how to do a show, because so many great minds were together. And unfortunately, the group, over the years, they kind of split off and did their own thing. The group still exists, but they're not what they used to be, because all the groups they started their own group, and those groups started their own groups. And so you have that lineage of who came from that group, and you can see the influence of it. But that's one of the ones I would say for sure, like, always captured me and motivated me to want to do something different and bring it out here, because out here in California, even in Hawaii, the dancing was, the showmanship was never there. It was kind of meh, or it was too traditional, where, I get it. But at the same time, you in order to have your audience want to watch it, you have to take out 5 minutes of the same stuff, or you're just going to totally lose their interest. So yeah, that's for sure for one.
And I would imagine, as a young person, very young person, you have elders who are quote unquote keepers of the culture, and the ones who are really passing it down. So how did you navigate that relationship so that you were able to maybe pull them a little bit in some of the more newer direction?
So we would always compete. Our group would always compete in competitions. San Jose, Tahiti Fete of San Jose is one of the largest competitions outside of French Polynesia. There's another one that happens to be the longest running out of French Polynesia, and they have categories. And all the old timers, much respect to them, and then they would all enter these competitions as well. But the way that I don't want to say snuck in, because that's not the word.
Sure.
The way I was able to get on their side I would say is because the judges, I would talk to the judges, not even dance related, not even about how to improve a score, not even about this. I would offer them, if they're hungry, hey, you want me to get you something to eat? Or I would talk to them about what it was like growing up and stuff. So I think just being a good person to them, to the judges, at least for sure, it changed their mindset. A lot of people were just, other people were just like, can you translate this for me? Can you do this for me? Can you do it's just always wanting and wanting and wanting. And and it kind of like made it look like they looked out for themselves. But in the competition, in the competitive scene, there's categories. Well, there's always been one just basic category. Over the years, because of the group like the Grand Ballet de Tahiti, they created a contemporary category as well. So you're at a time when the cultural dance before was just one level or one category. And then over time, it just happened to be when I was into it, they started focusing on different types of dances or different, more specific on categories. So what we did is I love both. I love the ancient style and I love the modern style. A lot of people think I dislike modern. I only like modern, but no, I actually like the old school better. It's just I can do the more contemporary because I am a bigger risk taker, I guess. That's what I'm known for. But what happened is that we entered every single category. Some groups just enter one category. We entered the traditional, we entered the modern, we entered traditional style of drumming, traditional style of singing. And the 1 year we won all those categories. So we showed that we can do traditional if you wanted to, we can do contemporary if you wanted to. And our traditional, won over the older traditional groups because we did more research and we did more, we had access to certain books that people couldn't get out here. So yeah, and we talked to the elders, and it was that's how I think we got more respect from the elders, is when we showed them we can do both, and we also showed them that like how we were saying earlier, how songs get passed down and passed down and passed down, which is great, but we wrote for the contemporary, we wrote all of our own music. So we had to learn the language, we had to learn the different instrumentations, we had to learn all that. And I think that for the judges, that was a bigger accomplishment, or they got more respect. We get more respect for that because we actually did a lot more work rather than just having it passed down. We created a lot. So I think that's where I think that's where they cut me some slack. But today we're all fine, like we're fine and dandy. And I think that was back then, because also at the time too, you also gotta remember that these elders also had their own groups, and a lot of them, their business is their dance companies. So if all of a sudden 40 of their dancers come to our group, yeah, they're not going to like us because they just lost a whole bunch of people. And that happened a lot with us. We started from maybe like 10 to 12 original dancers to like over 350 in a matter of like 5 or 6 years, because we had what the youngers wanted, because our group was all younger people. So
let me shift gears now and talk about another. I mean, you're so busy, man, and talented. Let's get into your annual event, V&A's Gingy House, which you put on with your husband Vincent. So
yeah.
Wow, that's such a large event. I mean, 22,000 people saw it last year. So
yeah,
tell us about it. How did it get started? You're using recyclable materials. It's just tell us about all that, man. How did that come about?
So it came out because the house that we live in now is Vince's parents' house when they first moved here from Philippines. So they always had this house in the family. For a number of years, it was vacant, but they still wanted to keep it because it meant so much to them. Me and Vince, we lived in San Francisco, we lived in Nashville. We decided to come back to the Bay Area because Vince's family is getting, his father in particular has Parkinson's, and he's getting older, and it's okay, we gotta be there for the family more. Also at the time, my family was growing. My sisters, they all had children, they all got married, and I was like, we should do something fun for our family because my grandparents used to do a huge Christmas display at their house. And then once my grandmother passed away, the family kind of just stopped doing it. And it was sad because I was like, man, we have our own nieces and nephews now, and I would like to do something special for them too. So just moving back here, we were broke. We had no money whatsoever. We were just almost paycheck to paycheck trying to refurbish this house because it was vacant forever. Everything needed to be replaced, and we were switching careers a little bit. And so one year I said, yeah, this was like I think this is 2017, I believe. We were joking about it, and I was like, you know what, let's do like something different. Let's do like a gingerbread house. And we thought that was funny and that'd be cool. But then the whole time in the back of my mind for the whole year, I was planning it, how to do this. But because we had no money or money was tight, we started looking around the house for things that we had plenty of, like boxes. We had a bunch of Tupperware from parties and cups and bowls and leftover insulation foam. And around the same time, it was Mayor Lori Wilson's campaign just finished. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's actually the perfect material to make this gingerbread house, to make this wall or facade, because even back then plywood we couldn't afford and we had to be creative. So we put it up 2018, thought it would just last for a week or so, and it actually did, because the wind destroyed it, and we just didn't think about it. Everything was like just duct taped together, and we didn't use the right stuff. Mayor Lori Wilson loved the idea. She came by and she let us use her campaign signs, and she was really happy about that. And then the newspaper got a hold about that, because about her supporting the arts and supporting this. And then we went, from maybe 5 people a night to 10 people a night to 20 people on a weekend. And then after that, we just kept growing and growing and growing, because so many people said they just love seeing something different, seeing the community involvement, using recyclable and upcycling materials. And we have families that come here every year, take their family portraits here or family photos here. And so next year will be our big 5th year. And we start this year in the first weekend in December, but it's just grown so much, from multiple TV interviews to we have a merchant coming out this. We have theme nights every night. It's crazy that this little city has this, and it's funny because so many people know about it worldwide, and there's people that live in the area that have never even heard about it. So it's pretty. I find it pretty funny that that you can do that. And I know some people purposely don't want to share it because they want to keep it intimate and like a very like a secret, basically.
Sure.
But,
sure.
Yeah.
And a shout out to Mayor Lori Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Just a dynamic mayor here at Suisun City.
Totally.
Just awesome person, and really, really has a focus and an eye for the arts, and is really trying to lift the artistic endeavors in Suisun City. So shout out Mayor Wilson.
Oh yeah, totally.
Let me now shift a little bit to talk about one of your new ventures, V&A Creatives. Tell us about that. So
V&A Creatives is a nonprofit organization that's still waiting for the IRS to clear. We're so close, but so far. It's an idea we wanted to have or started before. We just didn't have the time. But this year we're just like, okay, let's just get this situated, and we know it's going to take some time. As you know, we do an Easter celebration that we collaborate with the city now with. We do Halloween, we do Pride, we do Valentine's, where the community makes their own handmade Valentine cards, and they drop it off at our location, and then we deliver it to the nearby senior center. But all of that needs funding to do, and not money to make decorations. We want to start an organization where we can go to schools and go to senior centers and places like that and teach them how to make a giant lollipop out of foam, or how to make a giant Easter egg out of cardboard. But with that, paint is expensive. Glue is expensive when you have it by so many people. But with that, if we were to teach a class how to make a giant lollipop, they can donate it to us and put it on display, and they can bring their family and say, I made that lollipop, or our family made that lollipop, which is, we actually do have a lot of dedications on all of our lollipops. I think there's about 60 big ones this year, but each one has a family name tag on it, on someone that contributed to the display. So it's more about bringing creative art projects into the schools, which in part the family can see it as well on our displays. And I think that's what I think is really cool about it, because again, the community can feel like they are a part of something rather than just looking at it. So that's where that's coming from.
A great concept, and you get the community engagement, you get to the artistic piece of it, and you have ability to scale up. So congrats on that. And
thank you.
Let's go IRS. Let's get this going. So so these gentlemen can
pushing and shoving. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to shift topics again. You talk a lot about being mixed race and how that's influenced your the way you express yourself culturally, and just the way you go about being you. So talk about your experiences, being mixed race, and just, what does that mean to you?
Sure. Well, I'm Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, Hawaiian, Filipino, Spanish, German, Comedian, and Puerto Rican. And growing up, I was too white to hang out with the Filipino and Asian kids. I was too Asian to hang out with the white kids. And, back then, I'm not sure how it is nowadays. It might still have the same type of thing. So more kids are more open to diversity. But back then, it was kind of like you're in this group or this group. And I was always going back and forth. And even the family, a lot of my cousins on my dad's side, they're more dark skinned and whatever. And they always made fun of me because I was so light skinned. And then now I don't know, for some reason they want to be light skinned. I don't know. It's weird, but I always had that trying to find your place with friends and stuff, and eventually found I guess you would say the oddball group, but we weren't really the oddball group. What happened, it seemed like there's a group of our friends back then where they were just different from everyone else, and we all kind of found each other over time. But being mixed race, it really helps keep an open mind to anything: music, food, traditions. When we have our weddings, we have big family gatherings or weddings. We have Hispanic food, we have Filipino food, we have Chinese food, we have Japanese food, we have Hawaiian food, we have we have all these different options, and it just, if you're not around that, it's hard to see a bigger picture, I guess, on society. Even with music alone, like some people just like one style of music. And all of our lives, we loved Hawaiian music, we loved salsa music, we loved all of that, and people just thought we were weird. But I'm like, what's wrong with it? Like, it's cool, and I like it, and I can feel it, and I can relate to it. So yeah, being mixed race really helps, just to see a bigger picture in the world, and rather than just staying in a little bubble.
Well, again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I have one more question for you. Sure. And like I say, man, you're doing so much in the community and just sharing your art, sharing your gifts with everyone, man. And so just much respect for that. And
thank you.
And the work that you do. I want to end now because let's talk a little bit about you and Vincent. How long have you guys been married? And, how does it feel to be married, man?
Oh, it's great. We got married when when was that? It's so funny because we never really talk about it. It's when the bill passed when we could get married.
Sure.
We hopped on it right away. And it feels great. We've been together for almost 20 years now. The adventures and stuff we have has just been more like best friends, and we're pretty much inseparable. And that's why we go by V&A. Everyone knows this is V&A, Vince and Aaron, instead of saying, because they always know we're going to be together, even though we have our personalities are similar, but we're very, very different at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah, he's the one that holds everything down. I'm the crazy one. And to be married is great because actually I feel proud and not as scared as I was before. Because when articles in the newspaper came out when we first started about all this stuff, it said, married couple, husband, and it's like, ooh, I don't know how they're gonna like that, or what people are gonna say, and how they're gonna feel about that. Maybe that might turn people off, and some people believe that if they associate with us, you'll be like us, or something crazy. But no, it was very empowering seeing the amount of reactions where people don't care about that. And I think that's what really changed it, was for us to proudly say, yeah, we're married. And we have neighbors and community members on our street before, that I think they weren't okay with it at first, when they found out, oh gosh, a gay couple is living on our street. And we totally got that vibe at first from certain people, but after the years, now we walk by and say hi, and invite us over for this and that. And I think by doing something positive for the community and always respecting others, they will give you the respect back. Some people just need that opportunity and that experience to see that, we're not bad people. We're not going to change you and whatever, we're just like everyone else here. So yeah, that's been great. And our families thankfully get along really well. He's always been somehow in the background with our family. He actually had to compete in a leadership program with my sister a long time ago. And they also, I remember they competed for a scholarship that my sister got. In our dance company, he used to babysit some of the kids that would take classes from us. And he's only 2 years older than me. But there was always he was always there, and he always knew of me and what I did. I think what really hit it was when I took a trip to Tahiti and found out he was on the same plane coming back, which is like totally weird. So he happened to go to Tahiti at the same time. And I think the thing that glued us together was Disney, and like just being geeks about it, because we're both huge Disney fans. And when you're in your late 20s, before Facebook and stuff, you couldn't really find anyone to share a common interest with you. And once we started talking about that, and it was over. It was like that sealed the deal, just to be open and be nerds ourselves. So yeah.
Sure. Well, again, man, you're doing so much in the community. You're the Gingerbread House this year, I'm sure it's going to be bananas again. You're going to have so much going on with thousands and thousands of people. All the things you're doing in the city of Suisun City. Your work with San Francisco Ethnic Dance Festival. Just, man, you're an amazing guy, and thank you for coming on the Eddrick Show today. I really, really appreciate it, man. So I'll put some links to some of the information we've shared in the in the description. So please subscribe to the Eddrick Show. If people want to get a hold of you, is there a way from like a business standpoint, or how can they get a hold of you?
So I'm all over Facebook, because I messages pop up right away.
Okay.
It's funny you say that, because this weekend we are launching gingyhouse.com.
Okay.
So that will start Monday, I believe. I think we do soft testing. Then that will have links to how to donate, merchandise, upcoming events. So today, for example, we have our Halloween display set up, and today is it's a private event for kids with special needs. So tonight is just for kids with special needs, and after that it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you bring a canned good, then you'll get an extra surprise little treat. But yeah, so gingyhouse.com will have all of our information. But yeah, I always love talking to people on Facebook too. So you can find me easily on Facebook.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, man, I know you're busy. Thanks for taking time out to be on the Eddrick Show. Really appreciate it. Thank everyone for tuning in. Please subscribe to the Eddrick Show as we grow this thing from the ground up. I am Eddrick Jerome. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you, guys.